Niharika and welcome to Skillopedia, the place to learn skills for the real world. Well, when you go for an interview, what's your primary goal? To get through the interview with flying colors and to give your best. Am I right? But then there are times when we fail an interview. Why does that happen? Have you wondered why does this happen to you? Well, you have the best of skills, the drive to work hard, and of course the best of qualifications as well. And you still failed the interview. Well, the reason is because you mentioned something during an interview which is considered as a red flag for an interviewer. That's exactly the reason why you failed. So in this session today with Skillopedia, you are going to learn certain things that you're not supposed to say during an interview. When you go for an interview, you have too many questions in your mind. And you end up asking the interviewer, "So tell me, what's this company all about?" There you go. That's the first failure. You are definitely not going to get selected if you end up asking this question. "So tell me something about this organization," or "What is this company all about?" Well, rule number one, when you are preparing yourself for an interview, it's important for you to do a research about the company. Of course, you cannot walk into an interview knowing nothing about the company. You are definitely going to fail. So, what's the next step that you're going to take when you are preparing yourself for an interview? Go online, research about the company, see what the company is all about, what they do. And of course, you're also supposed to prepare some points that would help you to talk about the value that you can add to this organization. And of course, how well you can fit into the role that the company wants to hire people for. So, make sure that you have good knowledge about the company and avoid the question, "So what is this company all about?" Well, the second thing that you're not supposed to mention during an interview is, "My current boss is just horrible. My current company is absolutely awful." Do you think by bad-mouthing your current boss or your current company, you're trying to impress the interviewer? Definitely not. That is so unprofessional. Well, if you are bad-mouthing your current boss, what if the interviewer is good friends with your current boss? Oops! You're in trouble. So always stay focused and always be positive when you are talking about your current job, your current boss, or your current company. Add the points that what are the experiences that you have received while working for this company. So in this way, you're showing the positiveness within you to this interviewer. That will impress the interviewer, and there are chances that you might end up getting this job. So please do not badmouth your current job, your current company, or your current boss. When you go for an interview, you have an excellent resume prepared for the interview. You present that resume to your interviewer, and the interviewer ends up asking you a question wherein the answer is already mentioned on the resume, and you end up saying, "Oh, it's on my resume." Okay, well, when an interviewer asks you a question about something in particular, about some experience in particular, which has already been mentioned in your resume, you cannot give the reference of your resume. Well, the reason because probably the interviewer wants to know more in detail. You will never write the whole story on your resume, right? So how do you expect that the interviewer should judge you only by your resume? So never say that, "Oh, it's already on my resume. Why don't you have a look?" That is absolutely unprofessional. This is considered as a red flag for the interviewer. So instead, what you need to do is, if a question has been asked to you by the interviewer, answer it. Use that opportunity to show your communication skills. Because that's a possibility. The interviewer definitely wants to know about your experience in detail. And of course, he also wants to evaluate you on your communication and social skills. So use that opportunity to shine instead of saying, Why don't you have a look at my resume? Okay? Now there are some people who end up asking questions like, so what are your working hours like? Or what's your vacation policy? Oops! Again, these points when you end up asking are definitely considered as a red flag. Well, when you go for an interview, the way you present yourself is very important. If you ask questions like, what's in for me at the very first stage of an interview, well, you will be considered as a very arrogant person. The interviewer is not going to appreciate that. So questions like, what's the compensation or what are the benefits working for this company can be asked at the last stage. That is when you have jumped all the questions successfully. That's the last question that you're supposed to ask. Well, at the very first stage of an interview, you are supposed to show that how hardworking or how focused are you when it comes to work. It is also important to show the different values that you can add to this organization. And if you mention all these things, this should definitely be a successful interview for you. You should pass with flying colors. So always keep these things at the first stage of an interview, and the what's in for me questions like what are the compensations or what are the benefits or the vacation policy can be only asked when you have jumped through all the questions successfully. There are many people who would love to be entrepreneurs. They would love to start something of their own. But when you go for an interview and mention these ambitious goals to the interviewer, well, that's definitely not going to be appreciated and you will not be hired. Saying something like, oh, I would like to start my business very soon is not going to get you the job. Because employers are spending a lot of money in training the people they hire. And of course, they are putting in a lot of effort and time in order to hire people. So, no interviewer is going to hire you if you are here to raise some funds for your own business. You're wasting their time and money. Well, they want to hire people who would stick around with the company and add some value to the company. So keep these ambitious goals to yourself. It's okay, even if you want to be an entrepreneur someday, just keep it to yourself. Need not mention this to an interviewer. This brings me to the end of this session today. So people, there are certain things that you're not supposed to mention during an interview if you want that job. So let's quickly recap these things. Well, the first thing is to ask about the company, like what's this company all about? The second thing is bad-mouthing about your current job, your current boss, or your current company. Well, the next thing is do not ever say that, hey, that's on my resume. The fourth thing is asking about vacation policies at the very start of an interview. And then the last thing is disclosing your ambitious goals. So keep these things in mind. I'll be back with a new session soon. Till then, you take care. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel, Skillopedia, the place to learn skills for the real world.